Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Lazar, and today we're going to be discussing the classes in Diablo 4, and I'm going to be referring strictly to what we had in the open beta. Now, I played all of the classes, more or less, and I'm going to start off with the Druid, simply because I had the highest expectations of the Druid, having played him in a very long time, and unfortunately, this class was the biggest disappointment. When it comes to damage, this was by far the weakest class, but you gotta bear in mind that everything will relay up until level 25 and what was accessible in the beta. For example, for the Druid, you did not have access to hit Spirit Booms. Spirit Booms are obtained after you do your class quest, and even though you can pick up said class quest, you cannot get to the side of the map you actually need to do it. Necromancer, on the other hand, can get his golem. The Druid could not get his Spirit Boom, so you gotta bear this one in mind. So in terms of damage, again, not fantastic at all. It took a while to kill mostly anything as a Druid regardless of the build. But I did enjoy myself playing the class. In what sense? It felt good. It felt like there's a lot of potential there. The whole transforming seamlessly from werebear to werewolf to human and so on really felt like you could have had something there, either as a powerful caster or as a mishmash brawler. As a caster, the best way to go about it was with a Lightning Storm build, which was definitely something you could go for, but again, it lacked in almost every single aspect. While the class is cool, and I'm sure it's gonna be better on release for the time being in the beta, the Druid was a bit of a disappointment. Next up, it's a toss-up between the Rogue and the Barbarian. In what sense? The Rogue can be played in a number of ways. You can go stabby, melee combat, which is fantastic, or you can try to make an archer, a demon hunter of sorts from Diablo 3. Now, my option was to try ranged attack and melee both in combination, and you can actually get away with that. I felt like the Rogue had the best mobility out of all the classes in Diablo 3. While the damage was, I guess it was on par with something like a weaker Necromancer build, it still wasn't anywhere near Sorceress level, because yes, my friends, a bit of a spoiler alert, Sorceress was the highest damage. But not only the highest damage. But back to the Rogue, I enjoy the class, it's extremely quick, so if you're a high APM player, I believe you're going to be enjoying your time on the Rogue. You can play range Rogue, or you can play melee Rogue, or you can combine the two styles. Absolutely bloody fantastic. If you're a high APM player, Rogue is definitely the class you want to check out. I'm not entirely sure how it's going to be doing in the end game because we don't have access to the whole information, so again, we're just going to limit to the beta experience. Next up, my favorite class in Diablo, Barbarian. That doesn't mean the most powerful class. No, honestly, Barbarian could have taken the bottom spot easily, but the advantage that the Barbarian has is simple mobility, and the class does have some viable builds. You have the Whirlwind build, link the cards right now, and you also have the Thorns build and Bleed build. Also, link in the cards right about now. So you can get viable builds for the Barbarian. If you want to play a bit more passively and just simply let the mobs hit you and they will die off, you go Bleeds/Thorns. Or if you enjoy the more active playstyle, you go for a Whirlwind approach, which was still my favorite. Unfortunately, the Whirlwind cannot compare to Thorns Bleed build when it comes to an actual DPS point of view. Simply put, it doesn't deal that much damage, but again, we're just basing this off of the first 25 levels. Next up, at position number 2 is gonna be the Sorceress. Now, let me make something very clear. In terms of damage and survivability, there is no better class. Sorceress can tank a Shava the Pestilent with no problem. You can stand in AoE and essentially be hit by everything and still be alive as a Sorceress. Essentially tank everything with not much issue, and you don't need specific legendaries either. And also in terms of damage, Sorceress was still top. So why did it get position number 2? Gameplay. It's a subjective matter in the sense that I never really enjoyed the classic mage type. It's a personal thing, but if you want stats, survivability and damage, Sorc 100% the way to go. And my number 1 pick, it's gonna be the Necromancer. Out of all the classes, Necromancer is the only class that I picked up and essentially went through the game. It does not care. And you know what? You got build diversity as well. You can have a Corpse Explosion build, you can have a Blood Siphon build, you can have a Minion build, which is what I prefer in combination with Corpse Explosion. And if you're curious about that, link the cards right now. There is even a Thorns build for it. It simply works. Essentially, you can pick whatever skills you want, and the build should work at least fine, if not great. If you're looking for an all-rounder, good survivability, good damage, subjectively speaking, great gameplay and flexible in terms of builds, Necromancer is 100% the way to go and is my pick for the quote-unquote winner of this short beta test. And now I'm fully aware you're probably already sick of hearing this by now, but this was just a couple of days worth of first 25 levels and we didn't even get access to more than one map. Not all classes are created equal up until this level. I would like to remind you that the Druid did not get access to his class quest, therefore we didn't have the Spirit Booms. For the time being, Necro is on top, but we'll see how it goes when the full game comes out in a couple of months. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe only if you enjoy the content and if you want to see more Diablo content. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!